In Wizard101, the Decathlon is a one-person gauntlet-style dungeon that involves the player to only use their spell decks rather than their gear. Treasure cards are the only way to deal any damage to enemies. It is important to note that pets can help the player along in the ongoing battles if they do not have stat bonuses on them. If a player loses a battle, they will need to start the level all over again. So now that we know what the Decathlon is, the 5 boxes event revolves around the Maestro, a villain who goes back into the past of many important characters' lives and corrupts them, disrupting the spiral timeline. Located in each world is the Professor and the Telegraph box to aid the wizard in combating the Maestro in their respective timeline. Since the Decathlon comes around once a month or so, why not combine the two events to see what happens? So with that being said, can you beat the Mushu Telegraph box Deckathalon-ish style? Now the rules to this challenge are simple. Use only your deck and pet. Gear and overpowered minions are not allowed. Losing a battle in the dungeon results in starting all over again. There are a few exceptions I had to make, such as the use of health potions since being inside the dungeon safe zones can heal you. You can choose to edit your treasure card spells once you make it to the halfway point. With this information out of the way, the first thing I needed to do was get naked. Next, I went to the lonely shopkeeper known as Eric. You might think he has many friends because of the business he gets, but deep down, nobody asks, "How are you doing?" This must be why he has a heart-shaped bald spot on his head. He just wants to be loved. Anyway, I bought some flammable materials and organized my plan for action. The next component in my time traveler's arsenal is a pet. Since I can't use any pets with stats on them, I settled for a ladybug that summons fairies. Finally, it came time to visit the professor in Mushu. Apparently, the villagers don't care that there is a red box blocking the road. Inside the mothership, I was asked to talk to Gamma on finding a new teacher for the School of Death. There were 2 potential candidates, Jason or Dwarf Man. Jason asked about getting vacation time, and that right there was a deal breaker. Only I get vacation time. I went to Dim-Witted Vale and was met by Dwarf Man's aunt, named Eunice. I tried to convince her about my dilemma, but she remained unswayed. Apparently she had already invited her friend over, named Old Hag Lady. Aunt Eunice wasn't nice at all. Before I knew it, both put me in timeout for my insolence. Once I got out of my invisible prison, I confronted and taught them proper etiquette for how to treat guests. Next, it came time to meet the Dwarf Man since he was the only candidate left. Score 1 for the kids picked last on an elementary school sports team. Suddenly, Dwarf Man's 2 aunts showed up and tried to stop me from taking him. At the time, I didn't know this, but Dwarf Man here gives 10% resistance and a bit of incoming healing. Anyway, using blades, the fire lizard I casted hit too hard that it split pixels. Aunt Milkman decided to live on a sliver of health and managed to scold me, reducing my damage output. Luckily for me, I have my very own lava shark that loves drinking milk. Remember kids, milk is good for you. Aunt Eunice tried to dance off my attack before I realized she was actually having a stroke and collapsed. In the alien mothership, I waited to regain my health because why not? It's free real estate. After recovering, I realized there were 2 piles of trash that I needed to take out. I even got paid 76 gold for it. Finally, the mastermind behind the deaf professor scheme revealed himself. It was none other than Charles the mascot from the Chuck E. Cheese franchise. It should have been obvious from the start. Nobody goes to Chuck E. Cheese anymore. I confronted Charles and what's left of his Chuck E. Cheese cult members. With the power of fire, I vanquished him and ended his short reign as the deaf school professor. The chain of events that will eventually unfold have been restored back to the way it was meant to be. Dwarf Man as the professor, and me taking a vacation from saving the spiral. So, can you beat the Mushu Telegraph box Decathlon-ish style? Sure, but what have we learned though? I need to play some other shit besides Wizard101. Alrighty, that about does it for this video. Take care, wipe sparingly, and see you guys.